Hey everyone, Andre here from SWL, and this is my unboxing of the XHDATA D-368, this radio here. This radio was released in 2022 and seems to have built up quite a cult following, because on my channel I've had many viewers asking me to review this and commenting on how happy they were with this one. So I didn't have one before, and what happened is XHDATA contacted me about 2 weeks ago to evaluate their new radio, the XHDATA D-608 weather band. And then I replied and said, I'll gladly do that. And I suggested that I wanted to do a review on this one. I actually suggested that I would pay for it, but then they can just combine the two radios in one package. So they ended up sending me this one as well for review, and I didn't have to pay for it, which is nice of them. So I will do my unboxing now, and then I will do a full review later. But I will do a quick test. We will have a look at what this one can do on the various bands. The radio has quite a lot of functions. One very nice thing, it's got USB Type-C charging. So it's a modern device. And as I say, many of my viewers say that they are very happy with this one on shortwave. So let's have a look at the box. It's XHDATA D-368 World Band Radio. Covers FM, AM, shortwave, 12-band radio. Plays in stereo on the headphones. You can play MP3s with your SD card. It also plays with a USB stick. And yeah, obviously radio. There on the side, it's just the same information. There we've got what I just told you. It's got a 18650 battery. I think it's 2000 milliampere hours. This is a bit of an upgrade to the XHDATA D328, which is a similar radio, but this one is newer, bigger battery, USB Type-C charging, as I said, and some other functionalities. So if we look at the box, all around the sides, and oh nice, it's got a folding bracket at the back. I really like that on radios. It makes it very easy when you are DXing, if you've got that little folding bracket at the back. So that is very handy. So let's see if we open the box. I don't expect much inside except for the radio itself. Nicely bubble wrapped, so pop, 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 like that sound. And there is a user manual, XHDATA D-368, in English, German, French, Italian, Spanish, Japanese, and Russian. Okay, and there is a USB charging cable. It is USB Type-C. I'm used to it by now that the XHDATA radios don't usually come with lots of paraphernalia in the box, unlike Texan radios, for example, because the Texan radios sometimes have carrying cases and wire antennas. They add all kinds of freebies. I think XHDATA, with their more expensive radios, they do it, like the D808, but with these radios they don't, and I think it helps to keep the price down. So I don't really have an issue with that. You order a radio, you get the radio. That's what you want. So if we remove the bubble wrap, we also have another white cover here. We remove that, and we have the radio backside. There we go. When I first saw this, I thought that the little screen here might have been a digital display, frequency display, but it isn't actually. That's only for when you are using the USB player and the SD card player. Then you can see there your track numbers. So it is a DSP-based radio, but it has an analog tuning system. If we try to look a little bit closer at what we have here, there's our buttons. There's something that looks like a memory function. I don't know what that is. Forward, backward, play and pause. There's our bands. As you can see, there's 2 FM bands. So 64 to 108 megahertz. It's interesting. That's the full band. And there's another one, 87 to 108 megahertz. And then the shortwave bands, we go from 4.5 megahertz up to 22 megahertz there at the bottom. And medium wave is 522 kilohertz up to 1620 kilohertz. There's our band selector, FM 1 and 2, AM medium wave, and then shortwave 1 to 9. On this side of the radio we have on and off, and switching to radio function or MP3 function, and Bluetooth as well. So yes, there's a Bluetooth function as well, looks like. On this side we've got our tuning dial, the volume dial. There's our little kickstand, which is very, very nice, as I said. Right, so you can put the radio down like that while you are listening. I like that a lot on radios. At the top we have a DC 5 volt in. There's our headphone jack, the USB port, and there's the SD card port. DSP FM stereo radio. There we go again. Right, so I don't know if, I suppose the battery has been deactivated. Let's just have a look. We have the 18650 battery in here. That's interesting. It isn't actually deactivated. So it traveled on the plane live. This is 2000 milliampere hours. So that's a bit bigger than what was in the XHDATA D-368, the radio that preceded this one. I just want to have a quick look at the antenna as well. Yeah, that is quite lengthy. So let's see if I measure the antenna. Yeah, about 50 centimeters, roughly 50 to 51 centimeters. So that's half a meter. And then before I actually switch on the radio, let's just do a quick size comparison. So we've got the D368 here, and that is the D219. They seem to be almost exactly the same length. Slight difference, as you can see there. The D368 appears to be slightly thicker, just barely, but yeah, very similar in terms of size, what we have here. And we can also just look at the D109 comparatively. It is clearly a little bit bigger. If we look at it like that, about the same width as well again. The D368 is slightly thicker, looks like. But yeah, you can see the D109 is a little bit bigger than this one. Let's have just a very brief look at the manual. That's German. There's the English description of the buttons. You don't need a very detailed manual for this type of radio, I think, because it's actually really quite simple. Everything you need to do you can figure out even without a manual. So that is in fact the entire manual. It's just these 2 pages. And down there is the exact frequency coverage. FM 87 to 108, shortwave 4.75 to 22, and AM 522 to 1620. And some XHDATA contact details. So let's get to the point and switch this thing on and see what we can do. Okay, so the antenna doesn't swivel. You can only move it sideways. Let's see then if I switch it on. What I will do, let's just have a quick look at FM first. I am on FM.
Of higher learning in Pretoria as the registration period is well underway at several universities. Matric results for the class of 2023 were released last week with many first years. Before the commission admitted to a few things. Pizzo, thank you so much for making time for us. Good evening and welcome. And we'll need to wait and see if it's going to be a set. 18 and 28 in Pretoria, 16 and 28. The Secretary General, Fikile Mbalula, is leading. Hierdie aand het ons besluit om ons blik te fokus op his party's presidential.
Well, I am impressed. The sound is rich and warm. And on FM, that quick band scan I did, it locks onto lots and lots of signals easily and nicely and selectively. No interference from surrounding stations. Nice, nice. I really, really like that. The FM sounds very, very good. On medium wave, I don't expect to pick up much. Medium wave conditions right now, it's middle of summer here in South Africa, and I haven't had much luck on medium wave at all in the past couple of months. But let's see, maybe we get Voice of America on 909. I'll just do a quick scan anyway to see if maybe there's something else, but I will not be surprised if it doesn't pick up much on medium wave.
Serving humanity with the pleasure of Allah. Mashiro aungadi ini ndo zvandaisarudza due to high unemployment rate and an artificial bakwa-Israyeli basuka eGibhitha bakhululiwe bakhambe zimu balisa nokukholwa balisa nokulale.
Yeah, in order it was Radio Islam, and then it was, I think it's TWR from Eswatini, that's 1170 kilohertz. Then it was VOA, 909 kilohertz. And the last one was 657 kilohertz, I think, the local Radio Pulpit station. That's a local station. So two relatively long distance signals, roughly about 300, 400 kilometers, the two weaker ones, and then two local signals. So it works. And that's not unusual. That's not much worse than what I'm currently getting on most of my radios at this time in summer. So on shortwave, what I'm going to do is I will scan through the 25 meter band. So just a very quick scan just to see what it can do. Right, so at first glance, doesn't appear to be super sensitive on shortwave. It picks up quite a lot of signals. The tuning dial is a little bit stiff. It's quite difficult to tune exactly into those specific signals. I'm sure, I mean, it's entirely possible. You just need to do it slowly and take your time. But at first glance, it seems to me like it's definitely not as sensitive as the XHDATA D-219, for example, on shortwave. What I'm going to do now is just add a little wire just on one or two signals just to see if that makes a big difference. And yeah, then that will be the conclusion of my unboxing. So I'm adding a wire here. Let's see if that makes any difference. I can actually immediately see there's a difference. This is the Great Fire Drake. You could hear, I mean, that was what I had on just before I put the wire, and there was almost nothing. This one would be NHK Japan. That's very, very promising. As soon as you put a wire, this is a 10 meter, 27 feet wire, it's like the difference is night and day. The shortwave really, really improved when I put the wire. So maybe this little built-in antenna is just too short. And it seems to cope very, very well with the wire, the little DSP chip they've got inside here. So yes, this radio shows a lot of promise, I think. Terrific on FM, you heard that. Medium wave works fine. I'm not really able to test medium wave now because of the conditions here. And shortwave on the whip is so-so, but once you put a wire, wow, seems to be really, really good. So I'm looking forward to doing a full test later, which I will upload as soon as it is done.